So I want to talk to you about grief. Have you grieved yet? Because all of us have lost something in this crazy time that we're living in. And here's what I know about grief. Whatever you don't grieve continues to haunt you. But man, if you can get yourself to grieve through the losses that we've experienced, it's so life-giving. I love that the Bible expresses the range of human emotion, including grieving. We see grieving all throughout the Bible, especially in the Psalms, this collection of poems, where in Psalm 25, for instance, David says this: "Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. The troubles of my heart are enlarged. Bring me out of my distress." Hey, why don't we do a little bit of this right now? We can practice grieving right now. Grab a sheet of paper or take out the notes app on your phone and go to a new note. And we're just gonna spend some time kind of sitting in some questions together. Go ahead, I'll wait. Yeah, these questions were actually shaped by a friend of mine, Kristen Zeckler, who's a part of our Crossroads community. And I think they're just really good questions to help us grieve, lament, recognize the loss in our life. So if you have that note or you have that sheet of paper, the first question to just think about and take notes on is this: What's breaking your heart about the state of things right now? What's just saddening you about this whole crazy quarantine time? The second question is, what are the things that have been canceled? And it just bums you out that they've been canceled. I mean, I think about high school seniors who aren't going to have senior proms or aren't going to graduate, college seniors who, same thing. I mean, what are the things that have just been canceled? Third thing to think about is this: what are the things that were gaining momentum in your life and now are derailed? And I was on pace to have, I think, the fastest half marathon time I was ever going to have. I was training hard, I'm still training, but man, that's not going to happen now, right? That race isn't going to happen. What are the things that were gaining momentum in your life but are now derailed? And here's a fourth question, and this one might be hard for you to answer. What are the things that just feel petty, but you're still grieving them? I'll tell you one for me. I miss my barber. I miss getting my hair cut. I mean, that is not the end of the world. I've even taken to growing what I'm calling a half-row. So I'm actually leaning into it, but I miss that. That was a part of my life. That was a rhythm in my life, and man, it's gone. One of those things that maybe feel petty, but they are things that you're feeling lost around. And then fifth and final question on this is, what has nothing to do with COVID-19 at all? It's just the difficulty of life, things that may have been in place before this even happened. I want to encourage you to take the time to grieve those losses, to feel those losses with God. But I don't want you to stay there. And so what we see in the Psalms is David expressing his grief to God, but then reminding himself of who God is. And so here are some ways that you can encourage yourself even as you grieve. Number one, remember the things that God has done for you in the past. I mean, just reflect on your life and think about the ways that he's been good to you. Maybe the things he's rescued you from. Maybe the ways that he's healed you, the opportunities that he's brought to you. That's number one. Number two, remember his promises. If you haven't already, one thing I'd encourage you to do is, as you read the Bible, just go through the Bible and pay a special attention to his promises, like the promise he makes to never leave us and never forsake us. Or a promise that we see in the Psalms that says, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." His promise to send his son to be the rescuer for us. His promise through the Holy Spirit to bring us comfort. I would encourage you to remember the promises of God and allow yourself to live in hope. Yes, there are things to grieve in this time, but there are also reasons for hope. And I want to encourage you to lean into both of those things in contrast and together, both the grieving and the lamenting of this time, but ultimately the hope that rests in the promises that God still is who he says he is, and he will still keep every promise he's made to you and to me.